DJ, it's time to gamble. But before we do, did you happen to see the University of Kansas's version of Midnight Madness featuring Snoop Dogg?
All I saw was strippers and cocaine.
I gotta ask you, what is the best part of this story? Is it the fact that Kansas called them acrobatic dancers rather than strippers, or just their all out incompetence by hiring Snoop Dogg to do a performance? What the hell did you think was going to happen?
It's basically like recruiting, but they're doing it right in front of everybody's face. Like doing the cheating recruiting of strippers right in front of everybody's face instead of hiding it because they're Kansas.
My biggest takeaway from this is, man, I just miss college. So let's get loaded. Because this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last. Fuck up again?
Yeah, I screwed up again, and I've been impressed with your can openings lately. I hope that's coming through as good as it does to me, because it sounds like a professional can opener. What are you doing?
Well, I've been more aggressive lately, you know? I was usually trying to do it like slow and not crazy, so in spray, and I realized just get aggressive and it really pops.
Yeah, that was very well. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for today because it is our time that we get to talk about gambling. So it's our second preview podcast of the week. The first one was our fantasy football preview. So if you missed that, make sure you go back and check that one out. But as I mentioned, this one is our gambling focused podcast. So we're doing our game by game picks straight up against the spread. We're going to highlight the games that we're most confident in for our carded plays. And you told me pre-podcast that you actually have a little bit of beef with how I marked you, because you went 3-2 last week plus 1 unit, but you've got some beef with me. What happened there?
Well, I should be plus 5, 10, 16, minus 5, 11 units. I gave out the Bucks plus 3 against the Saints, but I went on and officially changed it on my Twitter account before the games came out and gave Saints minus 3, which should count as an official change because I gave it out. If I didn't put it on my Twitter account, then I can understand. But I gave it out, so I switched it. I'm up 11 units on the week, which would put me at whatever.
I have a feeling that you're going to have to start like recording your own podcast on Sunday just so you can continue to play both sides of the card here. You're basically going to win every single week because you can say, oh, on the podcast I said it this way. Oh, but I tweeted this.
No. I put it out officially a change. I put out an official change. If I didn't put out an official change and I bet the Saints, but I didn't put it out there, then that's on me. I lost the bet. But I put it out there. I wasn't a rat. I gave it to everybody. I changed it. That's a good change. That's a good change. If it was I bet it and then I got it right, but I didn't give it to everybody, then I'm screwed. But I gave it to everybody. Whether you missed it, that's your fault.
I would ask for an official ruling on this. However, I feel like what we do in Wisconsin is still not quite legal yet, so I don't want to pull in more people than we have to. So I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt. You can be 4-1 or whatever the hell you were. How's it sound?
Yeah, 4-1.
All right, well, you ready to kick off Week 6? Man, I went through the Week 6 schedule, and this is a tough week. By the way, we're recording this Thursday, basically during the Patriots-Giants game. I was so, meh about this week. I got desperate. I did some prop bets. People that are listening to this are going to already know what happened to my prop bets. I bet Josh Gordon over 4 catches, and I went on a limb and said that he was going to score a touchdown. I was that desperate to bet this week that I bet on Josh Gordon preps.
That's crazy. I don't know what the board looks like, so I just will be making my decisions as we go. It may be a good board for me. Who knows? Nobody knows. I don't, that's for sure.
Well, it could be as early as this one. Let's get it kicked off with the Panthers and the Buccaneers. We got the Panthers favored by 2.5, over and under of 47.5. And I didn't jot this down, but I believe this is an overseas game that starts at 8:30 in the morning.
This is absolutely a London game at 8:30 in the morning.
It's a Jaguars home game.
I will never bet a London game.
Nope.
I just won't do it. You don't know what's going to happen over there. The Bears lost to the Raiders. Up is down. Toilets flush backwards. Australia, London. Who cares? I'll take the Panthers against the spread. I'll take the Panthers straight up. I wouldn't officially do that. I just think their passing defense, the Panthers, has been so good this year. And the fact that they'll be able to get to Jameis Winston, I think, is going to hinder them a lot because they don't have a running game. And the Buccaneers, they what's the word I want to use? They stopped They really did shut down Christian McCaffrey in the last game they played against them.
Right.
But, I mean, they're probably not going to shut him down again. I think he'll have not as great numbers as he has been putting up. He'll probably have more yards for sure. But I just think DJ Moore, Kyle Allen's playing this game. The Buccaneers' secondary is terrible. Curtis Samuels, DJ Moore, McCaffrey in the passing game, I think they'll throw the ball a little bit more in this game. They'll end up winning by probably like 6.5.
I actually would say that. I was going to say, you said every single thing I was going to say minus the ballsy pick of winning by 6.5. But if there's a team that would allow a team to beat them by 6.5, other than like the Dolphins or Redskins, it would be the Buccaneers. So yeah, I think the Panthers are going to win this game straight up and against the spread. But I think it's going to be a little different than what we've seen recently. I think it's going to be more on the passing game. I think it's going to be a bit of a breakout game for Kyle Allen, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, all the things you just said. So not an official play, but I'm with you. So let's just jump into the next one here. Cincinnati Bengals at the Ravens. Ravens favored by 11 over under of 48.
So I think people naturally want to say under on a game when it's Bengals and Ravens because you're still living in the past. But this is a game where both teams can score. So I mean both defenses stink, I should say. Obviously, the Ravens are going to run it up and down the field. Ravens, it's a big spread. You got to take Ravens straight up. That's not even a question.
With you.
Because the Bengals are just poopy. 11 is a lot of points.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith in the Ravens overall. I know the Bengals can't run the ball. AJ Green's not playing. But it's a lot of points for the Ravens. I would have to side with the Bengals if I had to choose a side. I hate it. I hate it both ways. That's my number one stay away game. Stay away from that bet. But I would go with the Bengals plus the 11, I guess, because it's over double digits. Seems like a lot.
I believe I said it on the fantasy football preview that I think I was with you that this is sort of the downfall here for Lamar Jackson. But there's 1 week left. They get the Bengals. The downfall isn't going to happen yet. Yeah, this number looks like a lot. Yeah, neither of us really like the Ravens. End of the day, though, it's the Bengals. They have no business being in this game. I'm not carding it, but there's no way I couldn't tell someone to bet on the Bengals. So I won't.
Never.
So go ahead and bet on the Ravens, but I'm with you. Just pass on this game. You don't need to bet on all the games. It's an early game. There's plenty of other options to choose from. So let's talk about one of those options. It's the Seahawks -2 at the Browns. 47 is your total. You look excited.
It's already a 5-unit game for me. I love being a home dog coming off a primetime loss, Kirk Cousins-ish style. Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. I know he looked like shit. I know his completion percentage is just terrible at 52%. But he's the kind of guy that, with his just overall cockiness and arrogance and confidence, he'll just come back and he'll put up a game where he looks like Brett Favre, because that's kind of the style of game he wants to play. He's going to be running around. He's going to out-Russell Wilson in this game.
He's going to have to, yeah.
The Seahawks have to travel across the country. I really don't think that the Seahawks are that great of a football team. I don't. I know they're, 4-1? Again, I just don't think they're that good. They played in some close games. They lost New Orleans at home without Drew Brees. You can't lose that game.
Right.
You just can't do that. That's not something you should do. I think the Browns win this game. I would sprinkle Browns money line. Let's go 2 units on the Browns money line. The last time I gave Browns money line, I won, and I pussed out on betting it. And then let's go 5 units on Browns plus the 2.
Okay, well, I'm going to go opposite here, but it's not going to be a carded play. I'm Seattle both straight up and against the spread. Here's the thing about the Browns. On Monday night, their running defense got exposed even more than what it had been. I think it was 40 carries for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns the 49ers put on them on the ground. And look at Seattle. Wilson can get it done. We know that. But, man, this is going to be a Chris Carson, Rashad Penny type of day. And if you stay tuned and look at my Sunday side piece article that can be found on loadedboxpodcast.com, I just might have Rashad Penny thrown in as that sleeper side piece for this week. So with that, I'm not going to bet this one officially. It's not a good game for me. I hate what you said there about the team from the West Coast traveling over to the East Coast. Not a huge fan of that in this game, especially with the Browns coming off that Monday night loss. So I'm not going to card it. But if I have to, I'm going to go against you. I got to take Seattle here.
Well, that's why I win and you lose.
I do have this next one carded, but I'll let you lead off. We've got the Houston Texans at the Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 4.5. The total is a week high 55.
If you listen to my if you listen to our DFS podcast that was released on Wednesday morning, I gave you a hint of what I'm going to take in this game. I love the under. I'm going to give you my pick. The under is my pick, 55. Everybody sees Texans Chiefs in like way over 70 points. No. Not so fast, my friend. Texans are going to control the ball. They're going to run it. They're going to play slow. And the Chiefs' offense seems to be slowing down a little bit. Texans have a pretty good defense. I think it's going to be way slower. You're going to be looking around 43 points in that area, 43, 45. This game goes under easily 5 units, but the Chiefs cover because they haven't covered 3 weeks in a row, so they're going to cover this game. Not official card play. I'll probably end up betting that, but I really like the under, so I'm going to just vault bet everything, and I don't want to double dip here on an under and or a total and a side, and then obviously Chiefs straight up.
What you said there was the spot on part of your analysis. It's the Chiefs haven't covered in way too long. That offense has been down way too long. You're not going to be able to hold it down that long. I know it doesn't look quite as explosive as it did the first couple of weeks, but come on. Chiefs by 4.5, almost against anyone, seems too good to be true. I literally think this line is where it's at, and we're getting a gift here. We're getting a gift of this line because of the fact that Chiefs struggled and lost at home to the Colts, because they struggled against the Lions and had to win it at the end. All of those things happening makes this one of the best bets on the board, because this, in my opinion, should be like a 7.5 point spread. So get it now, get it early while it's still under 5 points. 2 units, Kansas City Chiefs, first carded play of the day.
I don't like how confident you are in that. I almost want to side with the Texans.
You should probably take the Texans. You're right. I got way too excited. That was a terrible idea.
I'm coming on the Texans in this game.
Well, this next one I don't have carded, so I won't be as excited. I'm like red in my face. I got so excited there. Look at that. It's amazing.
Sure. You're always kind of red, dumbass.
Thanks. I don't know where to go with that. Saints at the Jags. Jags by 1.5 over under a 44.5. Where are you going here?
I mean, I keep going against the Saints and I keep being wrong.
Ooh, yeah.
So this is kind of does this feel like a rat line? How are the Jags getting 1.5? How are they favored by 1.5 points?
It's one of those deals where it's at home, New Orleans. I'm not in a dome. I don't know if that's something that's just in my head, but I get a little nervous every time the Saints play on a grass field.
This is a rat line. I'm taking Jags both ways just because it's a rat line. I don't like rat lines. I see something like that, I don't trust the Saints. Rat line, Jags. They cover and they win. That's a rat line.
It's funny. The listeners obviously don't know. We have an agenda that has all the games, all the spreads that we read them off of, and I always put my winners and my picks on there. And I had Jaguars straight up. I had Jaguars against the spread, and pretty much last minute I changed this to Saints both ways because I was with you. I'm like, this line makes no sense. Do the thing that doesn't make sense. But then I was just like, gosh, I was really freaking confident in the Jaguars last week. And guess who let me down both straight up and against the spread? The damn Jaguars. And guess who's been really good, better than we all imagined without Drew Brees? The New Orleans Saints. I think we're actually going to see a little bit of a breakout from Kamara. It's been too long since he's had one of his 150 total yards, multiple touchdown games. I called the Michael Thomas game last week. It was nice to see him break out some. I think this is the Kamara week. The line looks fishy. It's not an official play, but I have to go the other way than you. I'm going to take the Saints here.
It's a rat line. I beat you in Carolina last week.
Yeah, you did.
This is a rat line. Rat means don't touch it, don't go near it, stay away from it because it's a rat line. So it makes me think it's the Jags. I'm probably not going to touch it because of the rat line. It's a rat line. It's a rat line. But I have to take the Jags side because of the ratness of it.
Well, let's go on from the Rats to the Eagles because the Eagles are at the Vikings, and the Vikings are favored by 3 with an over-under of 44.
I mean, birds are just flying rats, really, right?
Absolutely. I never thought about it that way, but I can't describe them any other way.
So, this is tough because the Vikings just won last week, and you want to think they're going up against an Eagles secondary that's just decimated, that Devontae took, and he put over his shoulder, spanked a little bit, bent over, Kobe'd him for a second,
Kobe.
and then injured his toe just to give him a little bit of a break, and now he's sitting out and they're still winning. But it's the Vikings, and they just came off a win, and everybody thinks they're turning around. And I believe in Carson Wentz, and I believe that we will win. I gotta take the Eagles, man. I mean, the Vikings are my version of the are like the NFC North version of the Falcons.
Ooh.
Like, I can't side with them ever. Eagles all the way. They already beat the Packers. I can't allow it at home. And who has more of a home field advantage, the Vikings or the Packers? I mean, it's always the Packers. So the Eagles ain't gonna be scared going in against Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins.
Hey, now.
And Dalvin Cook's not going to get going. So then they have to rely on Kirk Cousins to beat Carson Wentz.
Exactly.
Give me a break. Eagles both ways.
What if I told you that in a fantasy league, I picked up Kirk Cousins as a free agent, I proceeded to bench Jared Goff, and I am starting Kirk Cousins because of what I saw the Packers do to that Eagles secondary?
I will tell you that you made the wrong decision because I'm actually predicting that Goff has a monster week in a game that everybody thinks he's going to get dominated by the Niners, and Kirk is going to suck in a game that everybody thinks he's going to be great against the Eagles.
That crossed my mind, and it's likely what's going to happen because that seems to happen to my fantasy teams when I try to make these bold statements. But I agree with what you said. I think Dalvin Cook's going to get slowed down a bit here. I think it's going to be a Kirk Cousins game, and if this game was 3.5 or more against the spread, I would probably take the Eagles. But as long as it stays at 3, I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to say that Kirk Cousins is going to finally have a little bit of a game, and I know you're going to pull out all your stats about how Kirk Cousins sucks against good teams. He can't play in prime time. He can't throw the ball with his right hand. All these things are likely true. However, he has to have a good game at some point. The Vikings need to make a statement playing in that division. They have a chance. The Bears don't play. The Lions and Packers play, so obviously one of those two are going to lose Monday night. Vikings got to take advantage at some point here. It's a Kirk Cousins game. That's terrible for me to say, but I'm doing it. Give me the damn Vikings. This is where the podcast goes silent because DJ has his microphone muted.
Kirk Cousins is even worse now against winning records. I think he's like 5-28 now. Like he's lost 2 more games against team with winning records. Hasn't beat a team. What do you think's going to change? You think he's just going to magically? This is like Clayton Kershaw last night. They take this idiot and they put him in the game in relief, and then he gives up 2 home runs to tie the game. It's playoff Kershaw. You think this is going to change? Why do people think that's going to change? They had a veteran freaking relievers, and they put in Clayton Kershaw. You're going to play freaking Kirk Cousins in a game against the winning team? It's always, everything stays the same. At times a flat circle. You
know how the Vikings could probably go undefeated. All they would need to do is they need to pull the Eagles strategy of we have our starting quarterback and then we have our reliever quarterback. And they need someone right now that can just relieve Kirk Cousins in games against teams with winning records. Nick Foles might be on the market here as soon as he gets back and Gardner Minshew keeps his job. So hey, let's bring in the relief quarterback. Times are changing. I'm still taking the Vikings with Kirk Cousins, with Nick Foles, whoever the hell they're going to throw in at quarterback. It's happening this week.
You got Sony Michel tonight?
I do. I saw him just catch a ball. Excited.
Oh, here he goes. That's not Sony.
Talk about being excited, though. This next game, probably my favorite game of the week, because I've never been nervous about a Dolphins game this year until this week, because the team that they play against, the Redskins, are only favored by 3.5, and the over-under is 41.5. What do you have here?
Well, I talked about this last week. I think this is a Josh Rosen is a good quarterback. He completed 72% of his passes against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. The interceptions he has are all. I've seen 18 guys drop wide open passes. I have you telling me guys are dropping touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
Constantly for him, and he's throwing dimes. Like he's actually kind of dealing. It's his team the rest of the year. He's made it. He's proved that it's his team. Fitzpatrick is trash. I mean, there's not lots of things I don't like about Rosen. I said that the Dolphins, they go in and get the win. They don't have the first pick because the Redskins are just a trash franchise. I still think Dwayne Haskins might be playing in this game, by the way.
So here's my take. I'm so nervous right now because this line is what it is. And the Dolphins are notorious for fucking things up. This could be one of those times that they mess around and win a damn game. They can't possibly. Here's the thing. They're tired of the players on the team are tired of going out and losing. And it's you kind of have to be competitive in games to make the people want to continue to play and not ask for trades every single week. But you can't tell someone to just go ahead and miss a tackle and continuing to tank here. Here's my bold prediction. Chris Greer, Miami Dolphins general manager. Game's going to be on the line.
Scores the touchdown.
Guess who is going to make a tackle on his own player? The general manager is going to come down from the press box, knock somebody out. They're going to fumble into the end zone. The Redskins are going to win on a walk-off touchback. Dolphins continue to tank. I'm taking the Redskins straight up. And that game-winning touchdown the Dolphins ended up covering because the Redskins only won by 3.
Well, Sonny Michel didn't pick up the first down on 3rd and 1.
All right, good analysis. 49ers at Rams. You sort of already spoiled this one here. We got Rams -3, over-under of 50.5. What do you got here?
Everybody thinks that the Niners should be favored. It's a line that is opposite of what people think it should be. I'm going Rams 3. They win this game. I still think 49ers are vastly overrated. They've had an easy schedule. They got to go. They outcoached the Browns absolutely 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Browns are a more talented football team, but they are just young. They're outcoached. Freddie Kitchens is trash. He doesn't know what he's doing with that offensive line. He's running Mike McCarthy routes. I've said this before. But the Rams are a nicely coached team. You don't outcoach Sean McVay. Goff's going to be on his A game. I don't know if Todd Gurley's going to play. I don't care. How are you going to stop Cooper Kupp? This guy you've got to deal with maybe Brandon Cooks. He might be out. You got to deal with Robert Woods. And then you have Cooper Kupp just tearing up everybody, being one of the best fantasy wide receivers in the league. And that defense, Aaron Donald, they're not going to be able to run as well because they have been. And Jimmy Garoppolo is bad. He's a bad quarterback. They're going to make him look bad. They're going to expose him. He doesn't look good. Turns the ball over. Rams win this game. I'm going to put it on the board. 4 units.
Ooh. It's a number you never do. I'm going to go opposite on this one. I'm not carding it, but I am taking the Niners both straight up and against the spread. It's another one that right away I was feeling everything you were saying. I was going to go Rams. I was going to basically everything you said. Everyone's high on the Niners right now. It's what's in your mind. It's what recent. They just muck-ducked the freaking Browns on Monday night. Here's the thing. Todd Gurley, really questionable, might not play. Brandon Cooks, I believe he practiced today. He'll probably go, but not 100%. You talked about Aaron Donald. He's only one guy, and I don't know that he makes he makes a big impact, obviously. But it's not the running thing. They've given up I don't know if it's the 7th or 9th most. It's top 10 or worst top 10, however you want to word that, in the league to fantasy running backs. And we just saw the 49ers want to establish a running game. Tevin Coleman is back. They've got guys that can just pound the rock. That makes Jimmy Garoppolo better than he is. Kyle Shanahan is working that system to a T. If there's anyone that can go toe for toe with McVay when it comes to coaching, Kyle Shanahan's proven he can do it time and time again. He's making that team that is kind of average all over the board. They don't have that stud, that guy that you just totally fear. They beat you with so many different people. We haven't even seen George Kittle go off yet. I got to believe in the Niners here. You're getting points. I think they can win this game outright, let alone stay within 3.
Garoppolo hasn't looked good, though. If you've watched Garoppolo, he's turning the ball over. He just hasn't looked good. He's missing throws for no reason that are open. And he's throwing them short. They're ugly. He hasn't looked good. They haven't made him look good. It's just the running game's good enough, and the defense has been good enough against the inferior, bad opponents.
Good enough for me.
They're average. They're an average football team.
Here's a team I can't wait for you to rant about. The Atlanta Falcons, favored in a game for how terrible they've been. They're favored by 2.5 at the Arizona Cardinals. We have an over-under of 51.5. Go, DJ.
The Falcons are, I think, 2nd or 3rd. I think there's 2 teams tied for worst against the spread, and then the Falcons are next at 1 and 5 against the spread. They stink. They are the worst team. I'm not going to pick the Falcons ever. I will take the Cardinals against the spread. They covered it last week. They beat the Bengals. I will take the Cardinals because even if I don't think it's right, I don't care. I don't give a shit. Fuck the Falcons. Fuck their existence. Fuck Matt Ryan. It's just garbage. I need to know, and I talked about this on Wednesday, how how can you please try? Are you going to defend? Have you finally jumped off? Are you done with Matt Ryan? Or are you just on this fantasy football thing? You need to stop being on this fantasy football thing and just be like, all right, I get it. Like, he sucks. They suck. I hate him. I don't even want these guys on my fantasy team. Where are you? Are you finally off of it after I've been right every single week?
So if you remember back to that podcast you were referring to, I said as soon as you brought this up, I was going to go radio silence. So here it goes in 3, 2, 1. Shh. That's all I got. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of defending this team. They're terrible. I wrote down Falcons straight up and against the spread, and I want to gouge my eyes out. What a terrible pick.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Donating money. I'm not betting on this. I'm not betting on Atlanta until they win. Dude, I won't bet on them until they win 17 games in a row.
They can't run the ball.
No.
The Cardinals actually are good against the pass. Yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna
do. And I can't tell you anymore. Like, I'm done trying to analyze this team. I spent all offseason trying to trade for Calvin Ridley, and I still don't think it's a bad move, but at the same time, it's like, I can't trust Matt Ryan. I can't trust that offensive line. There's no such thing as consistency. Maybe one of my biggest misses so far when it came to fantasy football this year is I said that Calvin Ridley was going to become, he's going to have boom weeks, but the nice thing about him is going to be that week-to-week consistency. I thought we were really going to see that. And he did it over the first 2 weeks of the season, and then I think he's had one good week since, and it was just like an average week. So that needs to get turned around. Julio was scoring touchdowns like crazy to begin the season. That's nowhere to be found. Matt Ryan's running for his life. Devontae Freeman, we both avoided him in fantasy. Thank God he's done nothing. I think Ito Smith probably has more touchdowns than he does. That's my rant. That's their offense in a nutshell. It's just poop. I'm avoiding it. Let's go on before I smash my computer.
I'm so happy that you finally jumped on the right train that I've been on. I've been on this train. I've been the conductor of this train for 3 straight years.
5, I think.
I got fooled by Matt Ryan 2 years in a row, and I just gave up. I was like, I don't care. Even when he won or got to the Super Bowl and lost that year, his MVP season, I still didn't care because you know what I knew? I knew that this would happen. I could see it in his future. It was going to happen. And I was done with him no matter what. You could never change my mind on
it. Losing Kyle Shanahan took a bigger toll on him and that team than I ever imagined that it would. That sucks.
It's pathetic because it shouldn't matter. This isn't college football.
Right.
When you have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, the guys, they had Tevin Coleman, the guys he's had, Mohamed Sanu, that he's had around him. Yeah. They had fucking Roddy White for a while. But it just, I'll throw it all the way back. There's no excuses.
No. The fact that team they made a Super Bowl. They should have won a Super Bowl. The fact that they haven't had more success. Them and the Steelers are the ultimate, just mind fucks of, recent history. How did they not win more? And the problem with the Falcons is, I think on paper they're still good, but, man, that window is, closing. And Matt Ryan, it's damn near shut, it feels like. And that's so sad as a Falcons person.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, I'm done. Cowboys -7 at the Jets 43.5.
Oh, we're on Cowboys. Shit, I was already out of the Broncos Titans. Cowboys are going to have a major bounce back game. They've been disappointed 2 weeks in a row. The one thing that worries me is Sam Darnold coming back, but it is his first game. He still has to get back into the rhythm. Their offensive line's really back. The Cowboys front seven's pretty damn good, so they're going to get after him. Le'Veon Bell might have a really good game here. I'm considering him in my DFS lineups. I think he could have a huge game against the Cowboys. Packers really ran against him, but the Cowboys should cover and win this game. It's one of those games where you're getting against an inferior opponent against a desperate Cowboys team that I think they're going to be them and the Eagles. It's going to come down for the playoffs. In games like this, you just have to win to make the playoffs in general. So I think they need to just stomp this Jets team and beat them by a lot, like college football style, just to make themselves feel better.
I wouldn't bet on the Jets. Like you, I want to see what Darnold does before I get too caught up in that hype, because 7 is a lot usually in the NFL, but I want to see what Darnold does before I go and tell people to bet on the Jets. I think if you take the Cowboys, though, I don't think it's a bad bet, but I think what you're going to experience is a game in the third quarter where you're still oh shit, I might not win this bet. But as the game goes on, as Dallas accumulates some points, as they have to take the running game a bit away from the Jets, That's where I see they could pull away. They could win this game by 10, 14 points, no issue. You just got to worry about that backdoor cover in this game. That's what I'd be scared of. So it's a no play, but if I have to, I'm not betting on the Jets. So I think I would take Dallas here.
I've never seen the Patriots do a straight drop back with Tom Brady under center before without running a play action.
Yeah, that did look funny. And it didn't work because he got sacked.
He hated it. He looked so uncomfortable running backwards. He usually runs a play action or goes at a shotgun. That was confusing to me.
I think it's because someone was running full speed forward at him.
Yeah, I don't know, but he looked funny looking. Like, I don't think he knows how to do a drop back without running a play action.
Dude, his knees are so old. He can't
I don't know.
move.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
He can't move that way.
I didn't like that at all.
Well, you were already talking about this next game. The Titans at the Broncos. Broncos by 2, over under of 40. You thought we were going to talk about it last one, so you should have a pick by now. Oh, and I see you writing on the agenda. Spoiler alert, DJ's betting on this one.
Titans versus Broncos, 40 points. It ain't enough. Ain't enough. It is too
much.
It is too many points. In the article, go check it out, loadedboxpodcast.com. Week 6, start 'em, sit 'em. I talk about this game, both sides. I think I talk about Philip Lindsay and I talk about the Broncos defense. This game will be 10-3. There's 13 points in this game, way under. I'm going big. I don't care. 5 units. I gotta make up. I got 11 unit win this last week. I gotta keep making up points. 5 units, way under 40 points. Broncos. Who wins this game? Titans. Titans just lost last week. They didn't cover. So now it's every other week for the Titans. So now they win and cover.
So as soon as I saw that number 40, I was kind of with you. I'm like, yeah, there's no way 40 points in this game. And we both nailed that Bills-Titans game last week as an under, probably the easiest bet I've won all season. And I see this one, and I see it very similar. Like, this is the same game as the Titans-Bills, in my opinion. That other one was so easy, though. Are we really going to have back-to-back weeks in games involving the Titans and another team with a lackluster offense that is as scripted and that we predicted as closely as we did? We said exactly what was going to happen in that game. It was way too easy. So for that reason, I'm going to not take the obvious. I'm not going to go under here. I'm also not carding this one, but if I had to, taking the Broncos, literally I'm taking the home team. If it was in Tennessee and they were favored by 2, I would take them. I don't know what separates these two teams, to be quite honest with you. Titans have the edge on defense. I don't even know who has the edge on offense. They're both kind of meh. They have their weeks. Broncos get the ball last. McManus hits a 60-yard field goal. Titans win by 3 after a tied 10-10 game.
Can I tell you what the easiest bet I've ever made was?
Sure.
And how much of a degenerate I am?
Oh, God.
It was last night. It was the Sun Belt. It was 70 points was the over-under.
Wednesday night college football at its finest.
I took the under in that game. I felt pretty good. What I did, there's a guy I follow. He's been doing bad. I wanted to fade him, but I'm like, he's due. I like that pick. But not only that, I love the fact that they only had 4 days off for the first time in college football, and their bodies weren't going to be ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no way these teams are going to be scoring a bunch after just playing on Saturday. 70 points. They scored 17.
It was 7-7 at half. I'm like, okay, there's nothing. If this game doesn't go into 7,
24 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, if this game doesn't go into 7 overtimes, you're gonna be okay.
The last drive that Appalachian State has was like a 7-minute drive with a touchdown. It was great. It was the best. It was done after the first half.
Yeah, and I took Appy State, so a double winner for LBP on a freaking Wednesday.
Chicken Red Dog.
I love it. Now we just cheer for Josh Gordon to catch balls. Let's go on to the Sunday night game. This one would have been a great one to watch, I think, if Ben Roethlisberger was still playing. But it sounds like Mason Rudolph isn't quite ruled out yet as of now. It sounds like he's kind of like 50-50 to play or not.
Oh, God. If he plays.
Well, if he's got to wake up first. I'm pretty sure he's still unconscious.
If this guy's played, there should be backlash from everybody in the world. All the CTE defenders.
Oh, for sure, because he definitely has that by now. We got the Chargers favored by 6.5 in this one. The over/under is 41.
Mason Rudolph is going to have to get a new helmet because he has an egg-shaped head now. He just came out of his mom's vagina after that hit.
Yeah, and he's missing a face mask, so he definitely needs a new
They
helmet.
took him to the hospital to get him one of those reshaping hats after the baby's born.
No doubt.
Jesus Christ. All right, Steelers-Chargers it is?
Yep.
God, I hate this game. This is my stay away. This is another stay away. This is my number 2 stay away game of the week.
Ooh.
Patriots with the interception. Going back the other way. This one's... Don't like the way the Chargers are playing.
No one does.
And I think who's out? Mike Pouncey's now out for the season, right?
IR, yep.
And the Steelers are getting after guys on that front seven. I hate this game. I don't like the way Philip. You know what it is? We haven't gotten it. I thought about this the other day. We haven't gotten halfway through the season. What have I been thinking? I can't count on Philip Rivers to do anything right now.
That's true.
It's in the first game, 8 games yet. So Steelers cover. They probably lose by 3. The Chargers look like crap. So, yeah, Steelers cover, Chargers win. I don't like it, though. Stay away from that. I don't like what Philip Rivers has been doing. When it comes to week 9, though, I'll probably bet every game the Chargers. And I'll put them in every fantasy league.
When it comes to the point that the Chargers need to win 6 of their last 7 to even be competing for a wild card, that's when we see Hall of Fame Philip Rivers. That is spot on. I can't go against that. However, this is only my second carded play of the entire week.
God.
I am going with, as DJ distracts me because Tom Brady throws an interception. It's hard to watch a live football game and podcast at the same time, by the way. Here's the thing, though. It's my second carded play of the week here. I am going to go the Chargers, and you know why they're going to win, DJ? They're going to win because I'm going 1 unit on it. I'm with you on the Chargers. That analysis you had is pretty much spot on. They haven't looked like anything what we hoped they would. Melvin Gordon back now, getting thrown into the mix, didn't have a great return, but I like the way that they're continuing to use Eckler in the passing game. Let Melvin Gordon be like that featured running back. We have no idea what the hell is going to happen with the Steelers at the quarterback situation. James Conner's dinged up every freaking week. Juju's got some injury issues. James Washington's out for I don't know how long, quite a while now. There's really nothing about this Steelers team that's impressing me right now. I think we're going to see a bounce back from the Chargers sooner rather than later. Get this while it's under a touchdown. If Chargers can win this game by a touchdown, I'm pretty confident in that. As long as it stays at that 6.5, I'm going to go 1 unit on the LA Chargers. Bounce back candidate, 1 unit.
That may be the worst throw I've ever seen Tom Brady make. I'm sorry, but he missed Julian Edelman by 15 feet behind him, and he was open.
Because he wasn't throwing it to Josh Gordon and trying to help me win my bet, asshole.
I was confused by that. Next.
Monday Night Football, Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers, NFC North Showdown Monday night. Packers by 4, over under of 47. DJ, as our in-house Packers guy, what do you got?
Admittedly, I'm worried about this game.
Oh, geez.
We've got no Devontae Adams. It worked out last week. It was fine. Lions have been playing good. They played tough against the Packers. I just want to do what I did last week, and I'm going to take the Lions both ways.
And you're going to do this without carding it because all you want to do is jinx the Lions, are you correct?
That's exactly what I'm doing. Lions both ways. They cover and they win. Upset in Green Bay.
I'm going to see if I can't jinx it the other way. I'm going to take Packers both sides, and I'm not going to card it. Here's the thing. Going back to my carded games, I'm disappointed in myself. I only carded 2 games this week, so I am going to play the DJ Primo card.
I have 5.
Well, you made up for my lack of carded plays. I'm going to play your card, though. Pay attention on Sunday because I'm going to have a couple more days to think things through. Let all the drinking that I do in Saturday marinate in my brain, make me a little bit dumber, make me a little bit loose with my money. I'll have another 1 or 2 that I can card. So pay attention to our Twitter feed. We'll put another one on there. That's really all I wanted to say. I don't have a feeling in this game. You know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling pissed off because I finally picked Devontae Adams thinking, bam, I got Aaron Rodgers as number 1 wide receiver in fantasy. This dude's going to score 14 touchdowns, 1,400 yards. Guess where he is? Holding his motherfucking toe in an ice bucket. I can't buy a bucket with this team. Every time I take a Packer, they do this to me, DJ.
Hey, he's going to be there when you need him, when it matters the most. Do you want him healthy later or shitty now?
I need to win now to make the playoffs. So no.
Well, you know what? You got to plug. It's next guy up. Next guy up. You go and you have a conversation with the next guy up in his spot. Plug him in there. Win some games, and then he'll be back in a week. No, he will not be out more than this next week, and you will get Devontae Adams back. He hasn't scored a touchdown. You know how many touchdowns he's going to score in those next weeks?
If he plays, maybe 2. I drafted him. You know what? The jinx is real. 10 touchdowns. If he scores 10 touchdowns, I'll buy your son a hamster, whatever he wants.
A dog. He wants a dog.
I'm not going to do that.
You just said whatever he wants.
Fine. I'm going to get him one of those flying rats. What a great analogy that was. DJ, do you have anything else you would like to add as we hop into week 6?
Go Pack, go.
No pack, no. As always, check us out on Twitter at LoadedBox. Hit up our website, loadedboxpodcast.com. It was recently ranked the best website that I've ever been to. Check that out for our blogs. We got start sits. We've got DFS plays. We got our podcast there. Everything you need in the world. Make it your fucking background, your homepage, everything. Our next episode will be back next week, previewing the week in fantasy. It'll be week 7. Available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. DJ, you can say whatever you want about the Packers. If the Dolphins win this week, I might not podcast out of hate. So why don't you go ahead and send us out, because it could be the last time of all time.
Bye.